Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for being here today. My name is Jonah from Spotlight, and I am thrilled for today's event. We are going to be packing a lot into today. It's a whole lot of aspiration to build a course in a week, but it is entirely possible if you use a clear framework and schedule. You can do it in absolutely a week and have your course live in that amount of time. We've done it here before at Spotlight. We've worked with other creators who have done it. But before we even get into any of this, please hop into the comments. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're excited to learn today. If you've attended any past Spotlight events, we love hearing all of that. And if you have any questions throughout the event, do not hesitate to put them in the comments. I will do my best to answer them as we go. And if I don't answer your question right away, I promise I am not ignoring you. I've set aside time at the end to get to any questions that aren't pertinent in the moment. And if you're watching either live or you're watching the replay, you'll know this if you're watching the replay, but there will be a replay available. So don't fret if you have to get up away from the computer, run, and take care of the dog, or I'm just moving fast. All of this will be available later. And if you don't get enough out of today's event, or there's any specific aspects of the event today that you would love to learn more about, please go check out the Spotlight YouTube, Spotlight by Teachable on YouTube. We have been building events specifically to help you get over all these challenges of taking your business online, building coaching products, course products, how to do email marketing, how to grow your audience on social media. We are really trying hard to help you tackle all of the challenges present for an aspiring or existing digital entrepreneur or creator. So hop over to the YouTube, go to spotlightapp.io if you want to see all those past events. And just want to call out a couple people here. We got English with Vanilla. Thank you so much for joining us. Coming in from India. That's awesome. Carl is tuning in from Minnesota. Carl, I am in Minnesota as well, just outside of Minneapolis in Northeast Minneapolis. So a blast to have another Minnesota person here. Hello from Chicago, joining from Milwaukee, from Italy, from North Carolina. It is delightful to have you all here today. It's always a blast at these Spotlight events. And once again, I just want to encourage you to use those comments, share what you're up to, share what you're excited about, ask any questions throughout, and don't be afraid to call me out on anything. If any aspect of this event resonates with you, give me a holler, give me a thumbs up. And if you think I missed anything, any tips or advantages or ideas, pop them in the comments. Love to hear those as well. We all learn from each other here at these events. Just calling out some more people from Buenos Aires, from Florida, from Jersey, from Seattle. Used to live in Seattle. It's awesome to have you here from Ann Arbor. More from Florida. This is so fun. So, without further ado, I do want to dive in today because I have a lot to share. And like I said, this is an ambitious project that we're talking about, which is building an online course in 1 week. Like I said, it's possible, but it is ambitious. So let's get started and keep popping in that chat. Let me know what you're thinking throughout. Any questions? Love it. Love seeing everyone here today. So, first off, let's define who this is for. So let me know in the audience if you're one of these. You could type a 1, 2, 3, or 4. You could say creator, business, teacher, or organization. But essentially, online courses and specifically mini courses, which is really what we're going to be tackling today, because you need to make sure that you bit off something you could chew, are great tools for creators. If you're looking to increase your income with educational products, maybe you're already selling merch or you've built enough of an audience. Love seeing people chime in already here. Monica is a creator. We've got a teacher as well, another creator. This is awesome. So, mini courses or just courses in general are a fantastic way to expand and grow your income. They're wonderful products that you can work hard on once, but then have out there in the wild. For businesses, if you're looking to expand your offerings or just capture more leads, this works for everyone as well. But mini courses are a fantastic tool. And I just want to call out too, I see a few people calling out a few, and that's awesome. Yes, often we are multiples of these things. So if you're multiples of these, it's only better to do all of this. But if you're a business and you just want to capture more leads or grow trust with your audience, mini courses are fantastic. Teachers, if you're looking either to build curriculum online that you own and can eventually offer to your students totally yourself, or if you're just trying to provide further resources for your students, mini courses are a fantastic tool. It also gets you really comfortable with teaching online. I imagine most teachers are comfortable with this after the last 2 years, but packaging it and putting it into a really comprehensive single tool for students to use is really valuable. And if you're an organization that could be a bigger business or a nonprofit or any sort of organization, if you're looking to create onboarding resources for existing or future employees, mini courses can be very, very key to making that a smooth process. My experience working with a lot of bigger businesses is even if a business is ran really well, if the onboarding process isn't handled well, you are missing a major opportunity to get employees on board knowing exactly what to do and making sure that they're efficient and increasing your bottom line right off the bat. So, like I said, if you are any of those, and I got more people chiming in here, it's awesome that any of you resonate with those. And if I missed anything that you think is valuable there, once again, anytime throughout the event, pop it in there. But like I said, this is an ambitious and a sprint technique to building a mini course. However, here at Spotlight, we've worked with hundreds of creators. We've seen what works and what doesn't work. And one of the biggest hangups we've seen almost any existing or aspiring entrepreneur or creator or teacher or business make when they're going out to develop courses is they try and chew off more, or they bite off more than they can chew. They choose a topic that's too big, or they just launch right in trying to do everything right at once, build some giant resource that is simply too big. But with this model that I'm going to give you, you can create a series of smaller courses that you can eventually bundle, stuff like that. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I just want to highlight the mindset that we have to be ready to inhabit and to totally embrace when we're setting out to take this challenge of building a course in 1 week. You are going to need absolute clarity. You need to know exactly what you're setting out to do. And I'm going to help you do that in just a minute and give you some tools for doing that. But clarity throughout the entire process is important. And as we embody this for our mindset, more than anything, it's just important to keep the goal in mind throughout this process, especially if you're working alone, which most people will be for most of the process. It's so easy to get sidetracked and distracted and think we need to do this or we need to add this. All of these things, you can tackle so many of those things later. And I'm going to say this endless times, you can refine a course once it's out. The important thing is getting it out in the wild, having it out there, and being able to start getting feedback so you can refine it. So, clarity on what you're doing in this week, which is to develop and launch a course, is absolutely paramount. You need to keep that goal in mind and have almost a bulldog approach to that mindset that that is the goal no matter what, and to stick to the tools I'm going to give you and make sure they guide you through the process. The next thing you need is time. Like I said, this is a hefty aspirational approach to building courses, but it does work. We've talked at Spotlight in past events about other methods for how you can take 10 to 15 minutes a day over a month or 2 months to develop your curriculum or a course. And there's many aspects of that that can work for different people. But for this approach, you are going to need 2 to 5 hours a day for 7 days. If you can allot that by either saying, okay, after work every day, I'm going to do this work, or if you're a private contractor and you can set aside a week to really focus on this, it is going to be rewarding, and compacting that time into 1 week is going to be very focused. It's going to make sure you stay on track and actually achieve the goal. And as I've hinted at by now, you are going to need some drive. This will be exhausting. Developing a course, no matter how small, is a lot of work. And if it's your first time, there's a big learning curve and you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And one of the most exhausting aspects is just plowing forward, giving yourself a break, accepting what it is, the best you can do in the time you're given, and you can always refine it over time. And I'm a big proponent of getting a little help here and there. So if you can put just a little money behind getting some help, whether that's video editing or some copywriting review or any tools like that, or if you have friends that can do these things, it's good before you get started to line up those additional pieces of help. Already form those relationships, let them know what's coming so that they are ready to go on the day you need them. So, like I said, the goal today is to create a mini course that solves one, and exactly one, problem for your audience. I want to be clear that today we are not focused on building some giant course with 300 modules and 200 hours of video or anything like that. That is all possible down the line. We are focusing on a quote unquote a mini course, which is just the terminology, but so long as you're solving that problem, it's a valuable course. But a course that only solves one individual problem. Why are we doing this? Well, mini courses have a lot of advantages. First off, they're easier to make. And it's not just because they're shorter, but focusing on one problem gives a lot of clarity and sets you up for success. It can be very difficult if you're tackling a huge topic or a big problem that has a whole bunch of different aspects and approaches to break it down. That's where a lot of creators get lost. And so, if we can focus on just one problem at a time, we're setting ourselves up for success. Also, because my favorite part is mini courses are bundleable. So, if you do this right and you focus on one problem at a time, one course at a time, once you have 2, 3, 5, 6 mini courses, you can start bundling those into the big problem, the ultimate course that you do want to ultimately sell to walk your students through the full fledged solution. So hopefully call out in the chat if you understand where I'm going with this, why we're focusing on mini courses, because it is a quicker route to getting to that that big course, that big high ticket item. If you can solve each individual problem in little courses along the way, this is a fantastic way to do it. And I want to bring up Harin's question here because this is a wonderful question and leads me into the next point about mini courses. Harin is asking, awesome to see you here, by the way, Harin. You've been here a bunch. Love always having you here. Harin is asking if I'm talking about free mini courses or paid mini course. So, my next point about mini courses is they're worth the time. Whether you're going to charge for it or whether it is free, mini courses are worth the time. And real quick, I'll talk about why would you develop a free mini course? Well, since a mini course can be developed in a reasonable amount of time, mini courses are fantastic lead magnets. A lead magnet, if you don't know, is a product that you offer for free in exchange for capturing emails or leads, which down the line can lead to further sales and money. So I like to think that even a free mini course isn't free because someone's email is an exchange of value, just like money. I highly encourage that you start thinking this way because any email you capture, even if it isn't money right off the bat, holds an immense amount of potential for money down the road. So when I say that they're worth it, that mini courses are worth the time, it's regardless of whether you use it as a free lead magnet because you don't put in too much time. you're at least capturing leads, high quality leads of people who will invest their time and energy into your products. You can sell to those people down the line. Or if you find that it is an incredibly valuable product and you do want to charge a bit of money for it, it's also a great return on your investment because you didn't put a lot in and you can get decent money out down the road. So, if it is your first time ever building a course of any kind, I highly recommend starting with the intention to have your first course be free and to use it as a lead magnet. If nothing else, because if you develop that first mini course for free and use that as a lead magnet to capture emails and leads, the next mini course that you develop, when it's time to actually go and promote and sell that course, you have all of the people from your free course ready to go. So, like I said, don't want to think of emails as valueless if you're essentially either selling a course for money or for emails, or really, if you're doing it for money, it's for both. But start with just emails if that's what you're starting with. It's going to be a lot easier to get people in. And again, every email holds future value. It's there, it's down the road. And that's my last point, that mini courses are extremely valuable. The quicker you can solve a customer's problem, the more loyal they will be. And this is another point I want to make about the value of a mini course. We are far past the era where people really want big courses. For quite a while, for a few years, it was all about having the most video, the most options, the biggest community, all of this, 400 hours of video, 900 pages of resources. If you're anything like me, you just don't care anymore. It's not about the features. It's not about all the video you have to watch. That may be valuable in very specific technical situations, but in most cases, I just want the outcome. I want to be the person you're promising that I will be after I get that. So, with mini courses, if you really put yourself into this mindset of how quick can I solve the problem I'm setting out to solve? And if you can solve that for people time and time and again in a matter of hours, those people will trust you, they'll be loyal to you, and they will buy your products down the line. Because once again, the real problem from the creator, the business, the entrepreneur perspective is biting off more than you can chew. If you're going to do that time and time again, you're setting yourself up to create courses and create products that put your students in the same place. So, what we're doing here is getting comfortable and very good at solving individual problems quickly, efficiently, and in a fun way. If we can do that 5, 6, 10 times, then we know we're ready to solve a big problem, and we may already have all the pieces we need to do so. So, the general game plan here, what your week is going to consist of, is 4 stages. You're going to strategize. You're going to lock down the exact problem you are solving for your audience and make sure, once again, to keep it small. I'm going to say this over and over and over again. Keep it small and concise. Then you're going to create, you're going to format, draft, and record your course on a realistic schedule somewhat. Like I said, we're ambitious here. Next, you are going to edit, and this is where you might want to get some help and you might want to line up ahead of time, whether you need copywriters or video editors. We'll get to that a little later, but it is going to take a lot off your plate. If you are insistent on doing it yourself, you still can within this timeline. Like I said, I built a course in this timeline for a client and I edited it. I did all of this, and it is possible. It's just a really long week. And last but not least, you're going to promote it, send it out into the wild, listen, adapt, and refine it till it's perfect. This specific aspect, the promoting, we are not going to get into a whole lot today. My focus is to get you to the point where you have published your course. When it comes to promotion, we have tons of additional resources, past events, and things to help you with that. And Haran, if you're just a call back to that question, if you are going to be charging for your course, you need different methods. So it depends on how you're going to promote and what your final product is to how you do so. So we simply don't have the time to dive deep into that today, but we're going to get into actually just building and having and publishing and being done with a course in a week. So, what's this going to look like across 7 days? Well, this is the basic schedule. Monday, and you, of course, you can start whatever day, but you can screenshot this. You can do whatever you want. I want this to serve as your guide, and you are just going to do as much as you possibly can in each category every day to accomplish the goal. So, Monday, you are going to lock down your offer. Tuesday, you are going to draft your curriculum. Wednesday, you are going to film or write. If you're not doing film, although I recommend doing video, you're going to film everything. And I'm going to say this when we get there, it doesn't have to be fantastic. It can just be your phone up there. This is the other beauty of mini courses is if the education and the content, the actual value of what you're teaching is fantastic, people's expectations are reasonably set. You don't need to get carried away with a whole fancy video setup and everything. You just need to film the whole thing. Then you're going to edit your course, maybe get some help. Then you're going to draft a sales page. You're going to review with some help. So another place to get some help, just some eyes on it to make sure you didn't miss anything, misspell anything. And then Sunday, you are going to publish it. You're going to sit back, have a beer, have a smoothie, a glass of milk, whatever it is you like, and you're going to relax and pat yourself on the back. But let's break this down day by day because I don't just want to give you this calendar and say go. I want to give you more of a framework and make this easier for you. At any point throughout this process, please screenshot anything, bookmark this page so you can come back to it. Share it with the YouTube link in a specific section with yourself if that's what you need. But let's dive in day by day. So, first, you have to lock down your offer. And Monday is the day to do that. What does this mean? Well, there's a few aspects. First, you have to find the problem. Likeliness is if you're here already today, you've considered building a course of some sort. You know some problems your customers face, and you know you're qualified to solve them. So the real key here is picking a problem, something that can be solved in 3 to 8 steps. That is your meter. If it's going to take more steps than that, it's not for this challenge. It's not for this course. And once again, you'll be doing this multiple times throughout your business's life cycle. But for this first one, if it is your first course, make sure it is small and palatable. 3 to 8 steps is reasonable within this time frame. Anything more than that, and you're going to leave yourself in the weeds. You're going to get overly exhausted. You're going to get burnout and you're going to give up. So you really have to make sure that the problem is clear, concise, and can be solved in 3 to 8 steps. Next, you're going to create a target. So you're going to fabricate an individual and talk specifically to that individual. This serves as a guide throughout your week. So at any point, if you're lost or you're having any questions or you're not sure exactly how to phrase or say something, you have your target persona, that individual who you can talk to. And it is important to be specific here because if you are specific and can really help that one person, other people will follow, and usually people way outside of what you thought. So being specific is not a limiter here. It's the same concept as niching down. If we really just try and help one person, we'll be able to help a lot. Next, you need to clarify your transformation. So take that target and the problem and the solution and turn it into a transformational mantra to guide you through the process. I'm going to give you some tools for this. And then next, you are going to check yourself. So at the end of Monday, You just want to take a moment to be real with yourself, and you can do this throughout the process. You need to continue asking yourself, is the problem really small enough? It's really easy to pick a problem you think you can solve in 3 to 8 steps. And then once you dive in, you get caught with all the prerequisites and the details and all this stuff you want to teach because you're excited to teach because you're an educator and that's why you're here today. However, you need to continually check yourself, and Monday is the day to do this. The first day is really the day to be hyper critical with what you are choosing. So I can say right off the bat, if you're in, and hop in the chat, let me know what your industry is, where you're tuning in, like what problems you're trying to tackle. I would love to learn a little more about everyone here today so that I can make sure to give examples that apply. But just as I'll use myself as an example, as well as working for Spotlight and Teachable, I also have my own business. I'm a content producer, so I help people create podcasts, video media, and I'm a music producer as well. So I'm building courses to help with music production. Well, if I said on Monday, I'm going to teach people how to record, oh, and I can do that in 3 to 8 steps, no problem. Well, at the end of Monday and throughout that process, I have to really check myself and say, no, that's not small enough. I can't actually do that in 3 to 8 steps. So how about how to record guitar? Maybe that's still a can of worms. So I'm going to focus down and keep checking throughout that process to make sure it is actually a reasonable problem that I can solve in 3 to 8 steps. And remember, the smaller it is and the more refined the problem is, the easier this is going to be and the more rewarding it is going to be for your clients, for your customers down the road. Oh, and this is great. So we got a few things coming in. We got photography, so print on demand. Awesome. I teach English. Language is a tricky one, just like music. You really have to slim down. Makeup course for an everyday woman. I teach organizing. This is awesome. I work as a nutritionalist and a wellness coach. And then Francesca is asking, and this is a great question. So I teach German. What problem could I solve? So, Francesca, I actually have a little experience with German. Meine Deutsch ist nicht gut, but my mom is Swiss, and I've tried a lot to learn German. And one problem you could solve right off the bat is understanding how any second verb or following verbs go at the end of the sentence. I know I'm only speaking to Francesca here, but hopefully this works. In German, there's a rule that certain verbs actually end up at the very end of the sentence. This is so confusing for English speakers right off the bat. But if you could solve that one little problem, you would likely make it so much easier. Or to follow in the steps of Damon Dominique, who's a fantastic language educator, and we have done past events with him. We did a past event, and this goes to all the language speakers because this was genius. So Damon did a past event with us where he taught the sounds and like not words, but like little words and sounds that will make you sound more like a native speaker. So rather than focusing on vocabulary of language, it was the vocabulary of mannerisms. So, for him, he was teaching French. So he was telling us that the French don't say when they're thinking, they say so those little things that can make you sound much more fluent in a language. Just giving examples. Oh man, we have so many more people coming in. I love this. And this is a great question here from Lafayette. Do you have to solve the problem in 3 to 8 steps, or can you just give soft answers that lead to the full course? This is a great question. And I assume, Lafayette, that you're coming from the kind of the perspective of marketing your course. I can tell you right off the bat that if you are giving soft answers and it is obvious that you are marketing the entire way through your course, it may work, but you are building a lot less trust than by choosing one individual problem from your full course. And if you have a full course, you may already have a mini course like practically ready to go. But if you can actually solve a problem in 3 to 8 steps for someone, you will have built loyalty. If you just soft allude to what the solution may be, you might be helping them, but you are not building the loyalty that will guarantee that person buys from you later. So I would say rather on creating a more broad and general mini course, slim down until you get a tiny part of the problem. So Lafayette, if you can let me know a little more what you're teaching and what your specific course is, I may have missed it above. I can try and give a better example, but really focus on, if you don't want to give away too much value, make the problem smaller. Find a problem you can afford to solve for that person that will also set them up for success. Because then at the end of the course, and I will point this out, you have the opportunity throughout a mini course to upsell your full course, your future products, your email list, all of that stuff down the road. But if you actually want those sales to go through, you're going to get a lot more sales if you can truly provide value by solving that problem for them. So hopefully that answered your question, Lafayette, but it is a great question. We're going to have to keep rolling here because I got a lot to share today and you all are giving great questions. So once we found the problem, in this case, I'm going to say for my own business and just use it as an example, I want to teach people the basics of Logic Pro, which is a recording software. I want them to get basically comfortable with it. So, like I said, once we have the problem that people don't have a good single resource that introduces them into Logic in a way that sets them up. I did the research to do this. I have lots of friends asking me how to use it. That's what validates it. Then we create a target. A target is just a target persona. If you've been in past Spotlight events, you will see a few things and recognize a few things from these. But an example is just to fabricate a persona, this person that you're helping. It can be based off of a student you have, a friend you have. But once again, we're just creating in our head a person we can serve throughout the process. So in this case, I created David. David has been playing guitar for a decade and has always relied on other musicians, producers, and engineers to record his music. He's been starting to mess around with recording himself, but gets lost in the rabbit hole of YouTube trying to figure out why nothing he makes sounds like he wants to. Now, I am only going to solve one problem for David here, which is just getting him accurately and confidently comfortable with Logic Pro, a great software for recording. But David's overall struggle, David as an individual, he is who I'm going to serve the whole time. The next thing we need, excuse me, I'm on full speed here. The next thing we need is to clarify our transformation. So we know the problem, we know our target persona, we need to turn that into a clear transformation. And this is going to guide how we talk about our course, how we make our course, make sure that we are on track. So if you've been in past Spotlight events, like I've said, you will have seen this before, but I'm modifying a little bit. And this is what I love. This is what I call my transformational mantra. And anytime I'm set out to solve a problem, I use this to make sure that I know what I'm doing and that I know how to communicate what I'm doing to someone else. So you can screenshot this, you can use it as much as you want, but essentially we're saying I am helping your target audience or your target who struggle with the problem they face become the transformation. So, to use this for my example, I'm helping beginning producers or David, you could insert David here, whatever the synonym is, who don't know how to use Logic Pro, become confident in simply tracking in Logic Pro, which means just recording an instrument. So, I've trimmed down even still. I'm not even doing a full Logic overview. I am just saying, I'm going to teach you the very basics of just recording yourself so that at the end of the course, you can record something. That's the first problem I'm going to solve for you. After that, I can upsell you on the full Logic course and all that other stuff. But for this, mini course. I just want you to be able to open Logic, save a project, and record yourself so you can at least start that process. So, once again, throughout this first day, you need to check yourself. Ask yourself, is the problem clear? Have you narrowed down on one specific problem you can easily teach? Is the target clear? Do you know exactly who you're talking to? This clarifies your voice throughout the process. So, is it a man? Is it a woman? Is it a non-binary? Is it just a person? Is it who is it we're talking to? Give them a name, give them a personality, give them a brief little description so that you can talk to this person. It's a lot harder when you're just talking to all musicians or all music producers. It's so much easier if you just choose one person you're going to solve this problem for and you deliver on that throughout the process. Once again, you have to ask, can I solve it in, and I raised it a little here, but 5 to 8 steps, 3 to 8 steps, you get 5 minutes max to explain in each step. Ask yourself clearly, can you do this? Can you riff just off the bat? Maybe not perfectly, you'll be able to edit it. But if someone came up to you at a party and asked you to explain any one of these steps and you had 5 minutes, can you do it? Could you do it? Would it be worth it? Would it be good? If it's not, or if it's not quite fitting right, then you've bit off a little more than. Woo! Hello, everybody. Sorry, my browser refreshed there. I please hop in the comments. Let me know if you can hear and see me all right. I am so sorry for that technical error there. Uh, I dipped out for a minute, but hopefully you all can still see and hear me. Let me know. I'm going to give it a sec for those comments to roll in so I know that we're all back up and running. I'm getting excited and clicking too quick and just clicked right out, but it seems like sweet. All right, we're back again. Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for your patience as we go through this. So, the last thing to do as you check yourself is also to ask yourself, are you excited to do this? You have to be excited about the problem, the solution, all of those things. You have to be ready and thrilled to dive into this because it's going to be, like I said, an exhausting week. It's going to take a lot out of you. So if you're not excited, at very least by the potential reward and the process of building that reward, you need to choose a different problem. Okay. So if any point throughout Monday, this day one, you feel lost, broken, like you're not quite right, feel free to reset and start this process again the next day. I cannot stress how important day one is. Having this clarity, setting a clear goal, being excited about it, having a problem you can solve, and knowing that it's something you could just riff on, that you don't need to do a bunch of research for and all this other stuff. That'll all come later as you build future products. Make sure this is your elevator talking point. Like I said, if you're at a party and someone's curious about your industry and wants to know more about a specific problem and how you tackle it, choose one of those things you can just talk about, deeply, and you're ready to do. That is going to make all the difference in actually accomplishing this goal. All right. Say we've done all of that. It's now Tuesday. It's time to draft your curriculum. And this is a tricky point. This is where things can get hung up. Creators spend months developing their curriculum. I'll use a personal example. The full course I'm building right now that I thought I would knock out in a couple months is gonna be a year and a half until it's done. I set out thinking I knew all the curriculum, that I realized it was not enough, so I expanded it and all of that. So curriculum is really, really tricky. And I want to give you some tools, and I hope you understand how throughout this, I'm trying to set you up for success by making sure, once again, you have that problem that you can solve. But when it comes to drafting your curriculum, I want to highlight what I think is an effective tool for doing so. And once again, Tuesday is going to be a big day, but we can make it really fun. And everything we do here is reusable down the road. So it's really valuable. But your day on Tuesday or day two is going to consist of these 4 steps. First, you're going to dump. You're just going to take sticky notes or pieces of paper or a Miro board, a digital version, and you are just going to drop down everything that someone needs to know to accomplish the transformation you've promised. So I'm going to sit in my head and say, okay, I promised David that by the end of this mini course, he's going to be able to track himself in Logic Pro. That's it. But what does he need to know in order to do that? And put one knowledge item on each sticky note. I'll show you in a second what that actually looks like. Then you're going to organize, you're going to take each chunk of knowledge and drop it into a step of the process. This should be easy if you already have evaluated what those steps are. Then you're going to take that and you're going to put it in an outline. This can be everything from fully scripted to just bullet points. Once again, really, the more work you do on Monday, making sure that this is something you can just riff on and talk about, the easier the outline's going to be. You won't need full scripts. You just need bullet points to remind yourself and keep some structure. And then this is the kicker for Tuesday. And this is my challenge to you. And I really, really, really don't want you to forgo this aspect. You're going to practice. So with just you and your phone, it can be sitting on the table or whatever, you're just going to riff on each topic, each step for max 5 minutes. So you just sit there and you record. This also works as a backup. So if you have a good little setup, use this. But if you don't worry about it. Just set your phone up so you can clearly see you. Make sure the light is decent and it just make sure it isn't absolutely horrible, because this is also a way to test your timing to see if you can deliver in 5 minutes, if you can make this happen in 5 minutes. Otherwise, you're going to have to go to the cutting board, trim some other stuff off. But this practice at the end of Tuesday is what is going to make Wednesday possible. I'll come back to that, but let's dive in and break each one of these down a little just so you actually see what this looks like. So, the dump. What does it look like? So, on a table, like I said, on a digital document, whatever it is, you are just going to take each sticky note, each piece of paper, each Miro board sticky note, Sigma, whatever you use, it doesn't matter so long as you can separate and move each one of these around. But as you can see here, I've put each thing that someone needs to know to learn how to track basic, like just do basic tracking and logic onto a card. I have how to set your input and output, how to add plugins, creating a template, how to do basic edits. So just very basic things. Best tracking practices. So just some things to avoid. I have what not to do on one card. So just basic things not to do, right? Once you have exhausted this, once you've thought of every possible thing that someone needs to know to be that person you've promised them they'll be at the end of your mini course, you then organize. So you take each step of the process, the setting up, the basics, recording, editing, and sharing. If you have those ahead of time, you just input these. Or if you don't know quite what the steps are yet, this process is developing those steps. So you group each sticky note into like categories, and now you have your modules, right? Essentially, each one of these steps is going to be 1 or 2 videos at most. Once again, you get 5 minutes per step. You can make that into 2 or 3 videos, but each step is your video. So now you know what you have to include in each video. These work as your bullet points when you head to make an outline. So you're going to have your 5 to 8 steps for your course, and then you are going to have an introduction and a conclusion. So it is good practice to have at least a short video saying, hi, this is who I am. If you're here, you're this kind of person. Here's a little bit of what to expect. Here's who I'm going to help you become. And if you have any questions, here's how you contact me. And at the very end of your course, you're going to say, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here. And this is a clear opportunity at the end of your course, if not anywhere else. And you can do this easily with Teachable. You're going to upsell other products, or at very least get people onto your email list. Say, if you enjoyed this course, please consider joining my newsletter, or consider buying this product, or following me on this. You want to use this, especially if you're offering it free, as a lead magnet, as an opportunity to point people to the next logical step. So screenshot this, do whatever you want with it, but basically take this as your template for an outline. You are just going to input each aspect that you covered, or little helpful tips. Like you can see here, I say, be friendly. Don't forget to the marquee tool. That's a tool in Logic. Keep it fun. I've outlined just basic bullet points and tools that I want to make sure I remember when I go to record each video. And once again, practice it. So Tuesday is a busy day, because after you've outlined everything, I want you to set up your phone on a tripod, or leaning against the wall, or stuck to the fridge if you have a magnet on it. And I want you to give yourself 5 minutes max per step with your sticky notes, and run it. Go through each one. And at the end of that day, after you've done that, when you're sitting in bed at night and you're ready to slowly pass out, or if you have a little extra time, you can watch these back, take notes, and get ready for Wednesday. Wednesday is a big day because it's time to perform. But this is why I have highlighted the practice on Tuesday as so important. You can get cocky, you can get confident thinking you'll nail it out. I guarantee you, if you at least run a little bit of practice on Tuesday, you will be ready to film your entire course on Wednesday. And I want to make sure you have some tips for this, because there are some ways you can tackle this that make it a little easier. So, first off, is set up ahead of time, whether it's Tuesday, the day before, whether it's multiple days before. Just have your basic setup with your ring light or whatever equipment you have there and ready to go. Nothing distracts or is a bigger bummer I found in the process of recording or making content as having to set up right before, right? You go out, you're ready to do it, you're all driven and ready to go, and then you have to put up your light, you have to do all of this technical stuff that distracts you. So if you can set up your little gear, have it ready to go, so all you have to do is turn on a light, throw the camera on the tripod, and say go. That's going to make a huge difference in just your drive and your mindset as you go to do it. Once again, practice yesterday. Go through your outline and try and riff for those 3 to 5 minutes per step the day before. First off, that works, like I said, as a backup, because in case you mess anything up on Wednesday, you did also kind of record it all the day before, but just with less stress on yourself. And then here is my key for recording a video. And I've gotten questions about this a lot. What is the best technique for recording a video? If you think that you can sit down and just go for it. But in general, I think and use myself a system of say, stop, repeat, and move on. So you want to sit down, you want to set up your camera, and for every step, you're going to hit record, and you're going to go line by line, sticky note by sticky note, point by point, and say it a few times. So you could say, "Hi, I'm Jonah from Spotlight, and I'm super excited to be here. If you're here, you're an aspiring musician who's interested in using Logic Pro." Stop. Repeat. "Hi, I'm Jonah from Spotlight, and if you are here, you are an aspiring musician interested in using Logic Pro." Stop, repeat. When you get something you like, move on. Editing will be cutting out all the ones you don't like and cutting out the gaps in between. So, the really important thing is just to mull over, give yourself a second, and it's okay if the unedited videos end up being 10, 15, 20 minutes. The point is just Press the camera on, don't worry about it, and record every little aspect of that one step. And when you're done with that step, then you stop recording. This is going to be a great format for sending to a video editor or for yourself working in software. You don't want to hit record and stop record all the time. It's better to have one individual long file that is a step and edit it down than have a whole bunch of little files and clips that you then have to organize and move around. Trust me, especially if you're not tech savvy, use this method. It will make all the difference. And last but not least, make sure to have fun. If you don't have fun, no one else is going to have fun watching this course. Whatever version of your fun is, you don't have to be all peppy and up in the air like I maybe am a lot of the time, but you do have to enjoy what you're doing. And that's why the step on day one of making sure it's something you're excited about is so valuable because it will communicate. The number one thing is not the quality of your video or your audio or any of that. It's the content and whether you enjoy teaching it. If you have quality content that solves a problem and you're having a good time, you're gonna create a fun and inviting course for your students, potential customers, classmates, whatever your audience is. And if you need any help figuring out your video and audio setup, today is not about that, but please go check out Kevin Shen. Also, go check out past events we've done. Kevin has a YouTube that is fantastic for figuring out your setup. So, in that process of setting up beforehand, he is a wonderful resource. We've done some events with him, and we also did an event last week specifically about locking down your video and audio. So, those are resources to go make sure that your setup is ready to go. But again, don't fret about it. If all you have is your phone and a corner in your apartment to do it, you can always make it better down the road. Why not put out a course, make money, grow a bunch of leads, and then go rebuild it in the future if you want? I can't tell you how many successful courses I've seen where the video and audio quality is mediocre at best, but because the creator is killing it, because they're authentic, and because they know what they're talking about, the course is valuable. So don't fret about the literal quality as you're going. So day 3 is over and day 4 is here. We are cruising. We are probably exhausted. We are beat. We've been working our butt off, but luckily, day 4 is all about editing, which you have a choice. You can either do it on your own or for the love of all that is holy, just hire someone. Line this person up ahead of time. Let them know what day the project is coming, roughly what to expect, that they're going to get 5 to 8 individual files. Each one needs to be edited down into 5 minutes. You can find these people on Upwork or Fiverr or Instagram. You can expect to pay $15 to $50 a video. That would be reasonable. They may even be able to add music and all these other things. But trust me, it is worth it for 2 reasons. One, because you might need a break. It's day 4. You just developed curriculum. You just filmed all of that curriculum. And how nice would it be to just pay not to have to edit it and to just let it go out and then wait till the next day to review and all of that? It is so worth hiring editors. They're also likely, unless you are a video editor, going to do a better job. Down the road, you can learn how to do that. You can figure it out over time. But if this is your first course and you do not have experience editing video or editing copy or any of this, please hire people. There are very affordable options out there. And since this is a small course and it's not going to be that much work for a video editor, they can likely turn it around in a day and it's going to be worth it. But set up those people ahead of time so that when you're in that week, they know what to expect. They're going to get it back on your timeline and you do not get derailed by this process. If you have to do it yourself and you just insist on doing that, you can do it completely for free in Canva. And Kate Pepin, I hope this is answering your question. Yes, if you're if you're a total novice to video editing, please use Canva. It's free, it's really easy to use. If all you're doing is cutting out the intro, or if you're cutting out the gaps and the phrases you don't like, Canva is totally learnable in a day. It's going to be really easy to manage, and you can incorporate a lot of awesome pre-made graphic elements. So if you have never really dug into video editing before, Canva is the best option, no doubt. The other two are here just so you know if you start doing this more often, or you want to know what video editing software people use. DaVinci Resolve is free, but it does have a learning curve, and I guarantee you are not going to be able to learn and edit all your videos in one day. So maybe you get Resolve and you learn the basics of it beforehand. Uh, and then this is a great point too. You can totally use Descript as well if you want a slightly more if you want a more text-based function, but it will edit your video. It'll edit out all of the different parts you don't want. Descript is a fantastic tool. And then there is Adobe Premiere. One of the big reasons I have it here is because you can get Premiere just for your phone. So if you want to do all of this just on your phone, not have to worry about any importing, exporting, any of that complicated stuff, you can get the Premiere app, and it is pretty darn easy to use. It will be a little more of a learning curve than Canva, but there is a little more you can do with it. So hopefully, if you follow my advice, you've lined up a video editor for Thursday, and Thursday is the day you can catch up on work. You can take a break. You cannot worry about a dang thing because you said, yeah, it's worth the $100 to $200 to get someone else to do this for me. Or you've plowed through yourself, but at least you spent the day editing and not having to be active. So Friday is all about drafting your sales page. And when I say sales page, that is irregardless of whether you are offering this for free, excuse me, or if you are asking people to pay for it. Either way, like I said, we want to picture emails as almost monetary value. So emails are kind of like and I might owe you, right? It's money down the line. So you still need a sales page to get people to give you their emails. Good news is there are formulas for sales pages that just work. If you've been in any past Spotlight events, you've likely seen this before, but I want to give you a second, screenshot this and follow it to the T. Your sales page should include exactly in this order these things. And you can try and veer off, but I guarantee you, if you just do this, it's a nice, clean, slim sales page that will deliver results. So you want to start with attention. This is like your transformational mantra, similar, but in a little more of a sales format. This is a paragraph that says, I work with insert your target, whose problem is insert the problem. Together we transformation so that now you can end of the transformation. I have to move fast here, folks, because we only have a few minutes. But essentially, that transformational mantra, first and foremost, in your sales page. Next, bullet points interest. This is where you capture interest. You have 8 seconds to capture people's interest. Use yes or no questions to address the pain point. Every time you ask a yes or no question, someone is going to answer it in their head, usually whether they not want to or not. This is a fantastic psychological way to build trust and align someone with your platform and your values so that they know you understand them. So in my case, I would say, are you a musician who's interested in recording yourself? Have you struggled with figuring out which software to use and which one is best? Have you downloaded the software and got lost in the weeds and not recorded anything? Right? You want to ask 5 to 8 of these questions that are yes or no questions. And then you follow up with your transformational bullets. So imagine what it would be like and respond to each one of these questions that you ask. So if you ask the first question, are you a musician interested in recording yourself? You follow up with a transformational bullet saying, imagine what it would be like if if you were confident recording your own music in any situation, right? Answer each question with an imagined statement. This is going to prove the transformation. Then you have your trust. And ideally, this is where you can put some testimonials, things like that. If you have them, they don't have to be for the course, but just people who have worked with you, who can comment on your teaching style, things like that. If you don't have anything like that, use this as a paragraph opportunity just to talk about your own journey. If you're promising this transformation, you have likely been through it yourself. So show people that you understand what it's like to be on both sides. You were who they are, then you went through your transformation of years of work and all of this that you've distilled into a tiny opportunity for them so that they can do it quicker, faster, more efficiently, and become that person they want to become with this mini course. And then the last thing you do is you have an investment and a CTA. So stop procrastinating with blah, 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 and get started becoming the person you're going to become with this course. Make the investment. And it is important to think about this as a investment call to action, regardless of whether it's free or paid, because you are asking them to invest their time. This is also the last opportunity for you to weed out people you don't want in your course, you don't want on your list, right? So you have to make clear to them this is the time to invest your time and energy. This is how much time you're going to have to invest. This is the money you'll have to invest. You make very clear what the monetary or time investment is, and you ask them to do so so that they can become that transformation you are promising. Once again, screenshot this. Teen Writer Studio is asking if this will be available later. Yes, there will be a replay on YouTube and emailed to you as well if you signed up through the Spotlight website. So don't fret, all of this will be available for you. Well, now it is Saturday and it's another opportunity to get a little help, but this can just be a friend, a family member, a coworker, just someone else to get their eyes on it. So, first, I think one of the best ways for you to personally review all of your progress is to assemble all of this in Teachable. So, we have past events and we'll be doing future events on exactly how to build courses in Teachable and all of that. But through that process of uploading every video, you just watch every video right before you upload it, and then you add any additional links or text while you're doing it. So the process of taking your course and putting it into Teachable is one of review. And that will provide you with a wonderful format because you are both finally building out the course in the version where the student will see it, and you are reviewing throughout the process. Then you take your newly built Teachable course and you send it to a friend. Again, line this friend up ahead of time. Say, hey, do you have 2 hours on a Saturday to just watch through this? Let me know that I didn't say anything crazy. While your friend is reviewing it, take a nap, go on a walk, watch some Netflix, think about anything else for a minute. You've just been obsessed with yourself and your own course for a whole week and the whole beginning of the day. Take a break and then come back in the evening with notes from your friend, from your coworker, whoever has dove into it with you, and evaluate not. And this is a really important thing. At the end of this day 6, if you have notes, if you have critiques, it does not mean that you have to fix them. It's an opportunity to evaluate what changes need to be made before it goes live. For example, if you said something you didn't know was horrendously offensive and a friend calls you out on it, yes, you might want to cut that out. But if someone's just saying, well, this could be a little better, anything that just could be better is not a mandatory change. You are looking just for the absolute has to change before it goes live because once again, you can always make it better down the road. This is your mentality all throughout. So at the end of Saturday, the goal is just that if nothing else, you know that a week, a month from now, whenever you're ready to come back, revisit, and dive into optimizing, making this whole course better, you have a place to start off of, right? And hopefully you've understood throughout this whole process. I'm trying to give you these touch points where, even though it's a little more work at the moment, it'll save you a lot of time down the road because you've already done your review process here. And later, when you want to refine the course, you don't have to go back and review the whole thing. You've already done that and said, this is what's for later, this is what's for now. Finally, it's Sunday. It's time to publish it. On Teachable, you can do this with a click of a button, and it's published and it's out and it's done. And congratulations, you have made your first course. You're going to refine it over time. It's going to change as you get students in there, but you did it. You are at that point where it is out in the wild, and all you have to do is make it better. You don't have to make it. But there are, of course, some next steps. And this event today was all about how to build an online course in a week. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of additional parts to selling an online course, to getting an audience, to all of these next steps. And here at Spotlight, we are dedicated to giving you those tools. So, first off, hop in the comments. Let me know if this was helpful. Let me know if just this framework seems doable for you. Like I said, I can tell you, I have done this multiple times for clients who have just said, hey, build me a course on this problem. And it works. It's a lot of work in a week, but you end up with a product that then can be edited, refined, made better over time. But at least it's there rather than sitting in the yet to come paralysis that so many creators do. But after the course, in the next coming weeks, you are going to need to get your first students. Considering offering, even if you're charging for this course, consider offering a small group free access and exchange for their input for helping you refine it, and testimonials, basically a small beta group. This can be 3 people, however many you can get. They can be friends, but ultimately people who would be interested in the topic. The next thing, you are going to have to define your strategy. If this is just a free lead magnet, put it on your website, advertise it on your social, send it out into the world, optimize it with CEO, all these things that we've tackled in other Spotlight events. You're going to get it out there. Or if you're charging for it, go check out some of our past Spotlight events where we cover exact launch strategies for putting a course out. And then if you are charging, you are going to need a launch strategy. You may publish the course, but before you advertise it, make sure you have a clear strategy for how people are going to get to that course, and if they're going to buy it, what that value is. And once again, refine it over time. You can start with a free course and then start charging for it. You can start with a charge course and then offer it free. Ultimately, there are no rules. And the beauty, once again, of mini courses is it's a reasonable size thing to handle. Any mistake you make in a mini course is not going to be so egregious that the time, money, effort spent on it is a throwaway. You are going to learn, you are going to create, you're going to make value that is going to last long time down the road. And once you've done this once, you can do it again and again and again. So give yourself a couple weeks, right? You're probably exhausted. You probably need the rest of Sunday after hitting the publish button to chill out and just take a break, enjoy life outside of building a course. But once again, if you need help with any of those other aspects, please go to the Spotlight by Teachable YouTube and check out all of these events, whether they're interviews with creators presenting their options, or for the past 3 months, we've been really dedicated to bringing you events that are focused on solving all of these individual challenges. Um, and where can Francesca is asking, where can we find the launch strategy video? Francesca, there are a few of them on our YouTube, but let me make sure. Most recently, I know we did an event that was especially geared towards that. Um, it was called How to Capture High Value Leads and Get Paid While You Do That. In that, we talk about building mini courses as lead magnets, and we also give you a launch strategy to do so. But there are quite a few of these videos on our YouTube where I've dove into launch strategies and made sure that you have a clear template to use. That said, one of the last things I'm going to say here today before we sign off, and I appreciate everyone who's still here. I know we're 10 minutes over the time, but everyone who's either watching live or the replay, once again, your time and energy here is so appreciated. And it's been a blast seeing what you all are up to and hearing from you. But the last bit of advice I have for you is when it comes time to put all of this stuff on Teachable, if it is your first time in the Teachable platform, it's going to be a lot of work. So, what you can do for yourself today is sign up for Teachable for free. If you go to the description, we have a variety of resources are there for you, but top and foremost is sign up for a free Teachable account. It's not a free trial, it is just a free account, and you can build your entire first mini course. Everything we talked about today, you can do 100% for free. So there's absolutely no risk, and you're going to do yourself a huge favor by taking an hour or two in the next week to just get familiar with the platform so that when you set out to build your first course in a week, that is not a barrier and you already know how to do that. And if you need a little more help getting started on Teachable, we at Spotlight built a mini course 100% for you. It's called Establish Your Internet Home Base on Teachable. It's 100% for free. It's 100% free and helps you build a beautiful homepage that represents your brand and your business for your school, along with a lead capture form so you can start capturing those leads and growing your email list. And I highly recommend signing up for that mini course for two reasons. One, obviously, to accomplish the goal, which is to establish your home base on Teachable, get that beautiful home base, get your school set up, get all of those things initiated. So when it's time to build a course, you have that all out of the way. And if you need even just an example of what a mini course looks like, if you already have a Teachable account, but you haven't built a mini course, or if you just want to see what that looks like to take a small problem and tackle it across a mini course, go look at that course, sign up, dive into it, and just look with a critical eye. See what our videos look like, see how we tackle the information. Now that you know what this framework is, and I use the exact framework that I gave you today to build this mini course, go and compare and contrast. Look what that is like to take a mini course and solve a singular problem with it. Folks, that is all the time I have for today. I'm already over by 11 minutes, but thank you all so much for being here. Once again, if you had a good time today, please like and subscribe to the Spotlight YouTube channel. We are going to continue to bring events like this to you. Make sure to turn on notifications so you get notified every time we post a new event. And you can also sign up for the Spotlight newsletter. There is a link in the description as well to do so. That way, you will get regular updates about what events are coming and what discounts and offers we have for you, or additional resources like more mini courses or PDFs. All of these resources we want to give you so that you don't waste any time in your process of building your coaching, your course products, your downloadables, all of these challenges we face. That said, I could hang out with you all forever because this is such a blast. And I got to go back and catch up with all of you in the comments, what you're up to, what you're getting down with. And if you're watching the replay, please follow along, add any comments. We come back and read every single comment. So it's a joy to find out what you all are up to and what you're all doing. It's been a wonderful day. Please make sure to check out the other events this week. Tomorrow, we're diving into how to build a sales page. So if you want more on that, check that out. And the day after, we are going to be talking specifically about being confident in front of the camera. So if you need a little more resources before you start this process, the next 2 days are going to be ready for you. You can also get those replays directly to your inbox by signing up on the spotlightapp.io. That is everything I have to say. Thank you all again. It's been a blast, and we'll see you soon. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Talk to you soon.